Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be working in The Mystical Lands of Kelswych, Harvest Moon Wanderings by Karen E. Myers. This has to be one of my favourite series of books. They are on Amazon paper, which is a bit of a shame, but the illustrations are absolutely beautiful. So I've done a couple in here, as this is a book I would very much like to finish. Sorry if I'm moving around a little bit too much. Just trying to make sure you can see. This is Bell Blossom Cottage. Them pencils. Blackbook Atoll, which I did with alcohol markers. Camp Moon Dust, and I don't know if that's picking it up. It's got lots of sparkle on it and stickles on the mushroom. Chestershire Citadel, and today we will be working on Dreadmoore's Thicket. So I just want to get the spine down a little bit more. There we go. And because I am potentially slightly insane, we're going to be using watercolours. Please excuse the state of my palette, it's very well used. But yeah, I have done watercolour on Amazon paper before, and it actually worked better than I was expecting. So I'm hoping that this is going to work, but we'll see. Maybe let's just zoom in just a little bit. And I'm going to be starting on these leaves, I think. So let's get a water brush going a little bit. Like I said, you do not want to add too much water, because that is obviously where the problem comes. But I'm just going to see how it goes. And watercolour is one of my favourite mediums. So if I can watercolour in something, then I will, basically. So I'm just going to put in a nice light layer of this green on the leaves. And I just realised I think this is meant to be a winter scene, or autumn at least. And I've got my bright green leaves, so maybe let's add some brown. Let's kind of see where this gets us. But yeah, obviously this isn't the best paper, but the good thing about these books is that you do get 2 copies of each one. So if this does go if this does go horribly wrong, then I have another one I can do easily enough. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, it looks a bit better now. So, you know, you can see it's coming through and is going to buckle the paper, but hopefully it's not going to be too bad as long as I keep the amount of water I use to a minimum. Which is a little difficult with a water brush, because you do sometimes just get random bursts of water coming out, but hopefully it's not going to be too bad. So these watercolours I'm using are Mei Liang watercolours. They're actually quite nice for the price I paid for them. I think I paid £15 on Amazon. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I got them with how they are. So, I hope everyone had a good Halloween. Did you do anything? Did you go trick-or-treating with your kids? Did you have a party to go to? No, what did you do? And did you get any trick-or-treaters? We didn't hear, which, to be honest, is a good thing, because we have 3 dogs, and if anyone knocks on the door, they do not shut up for ages. Let's just lift a bit that up where I messed up. So yeah, quite glad that we didn't really get anyone. So, have any of you tried watercolour in an Amazon printed book? If so, how did it go? Did you like it? Or did you find it was just a bit too much hassle to enjoy it? Like I said, I've done one other page on Amazon paper with watercolour, and that was in Autumn Dreamlings by Edwina McNee, I believe. And I was very surprised at how well it stood up. I got just a little tiny bit of wrinkling with it, but I actually quite like how paper goes with watercolour. Obviously you don't get the beautiful pooling and granulation and stuff that you get on watercolour paper, and it doesn't spread as easily, but I still love doing it. I've always adored watercolour. Yeah, I'm gonna add just a little bit of purple on some of these, just to make it looks like these ones are really starting to dry up a bit. And obviously the great thing with leaves, it can be any colour. So it's the start of a new month. What does everyone have planned? I mean, obviously we are now in November somehow. So, do you start preparing for Christmas? Obviously Thanksgiving in the US comes before that. Have you made any plans, or are you going to, you know, kind of stay at home? Currently, I don't think we've got any plans. We don't really normally do much. To be honest, we can't go away because of the animals. And yeah, we tend to stay at home and chill. My brother might be coming down at some point to visit. He was down a few weeks ago for a weekend, and it was lovely to see him. So I'm trying to figure out if these dots is snow, or if it's like bits of pollen type things. I think I'm gonna go more with pollen type. Purely because it doesn't look like there's snow on the grass or anything. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, this is actually working quite well. So I'm looking back. So you can kind of see it, but it's not really done anything majorly. Sorry, I've got my book stuck. So yeah, I think we will continue with this, and it seems to be working nicely. I haven't squeezed my water brush. I literally just gave it a tiny little squeeze when I first started and used that to kind of wet my paint. But from then on, I've not squeezed it at all. You really do not want to get too much water on this. Okay, I think that is... No, there's one more leaf left on the tree. So let's do that. I hope the quality and everything is good today. at least, you know, manageable. Now you can see, okay. Still not happy with these ones that are green to start with. Let's see if I can cover them up a bit better. Yeah, I've just completely gone outside the lines, but it's fine. Okay. So that's those. Now, I think we'll work on this pumpkin. So I just want to wipe my brush off a little bit. Okay, we're going to go in with a yellow to start with. Obviously, it's a little bit more difficult using watercolours on this, as you know, they soak into the paper quickly, so it's more difficult to spread, and you don't have the amount of water you would normally have. And sometimes your paint can end up feeling slightly kind of sticky because of the lack of water. So I've done a base of yellow. Now I'm going to go in with my orange. Which, you know, is going to be the main colour. Another thing when doing things like watercolour on, you know, lesser quality paper, don't go over the same area a lot when it's still wet, as it will just tear it. So what I'll tend to do is do a layer, then move on to something else, come back and do my next layer. Which isn't normally the way I like to work. I tend to like to do, you know, especially with watercolour, I love working wet on wet and everything, but you know, with this you really just can't, because the paper will not take it. Like now, I'm probably about at the point where I need to stop and move on to something different. Sorry, and I'm just cleaning my brush off a little bit here. Okay, so let's go do these leaves. This lovely kind of olivey green. This is just a generic water brush off Amazon. I think I got a pack of 8, and it was a mixture of these ones and these ones. I prefer these ones. I find them easier to squeeze because I do not have the strongest hands, but you know, it's all preference. I have found these ones to be quite good. They don't let too much water out, as long as you're, you know, using a bit of a light hand with them, kind of thing. So cold day. I was quite surprised. It's like hit the 1st of November and it's just Baltic out. I don't do cold, but at the same time, I don't really do the heat either. Yeah, I'm kind of one of those people. I do snow. I love snow, but we're in a valley here. We are quite sheltered and we don't really get much. And we're kind of lucky if it snows once a year here, which is a shame, but it's very, very beautiful here when it does snow. We're in a valley surrounded by mountains and forests, and it just looks gorgeous. I mean, it's gorgeous all the time, but the snow, it's really something quite magical. So just doing these little bits of green around, these little tufts and things, whilst I wait for my pumpkin to dry. Trying to think what I want to do with the mushrooms. I'm not 100% sure. Don't know. Thinking maybe doing the big one red, and then these smaller ones maybe blues and purples. We'll see. Yeah, so this is basically just what I do. You just need to take your time with it. Don't allow too much water to go onto your page, but it's not the end of the world if you do. It's really not. I mean, at the end of the day, it's paper. And in these books, you do get 2 copies. So, if you do feel like you have messed up and you just hate it, then you can just go to the other copy and try it again. But I don't believe you can really mess up in a coloring book. They're there for you to be creative. They don't need to be works of art. And sometimes we get so hung up on, you need everything to look perfect, or all of that, but you kind of forget why you're doing it, which is, well, for the majority of us, you know, it's to relax. It's relaxing, it's enjoyable. And if you're just very worrying over what it looks like, and oh, I went outside the line here and I've ruined it, you haven't. I'm a firm believer, the only way you can ruin a colouring book is if you either just never colour in it because you think it's too precious. That's a bit of a waste in my opinion. Or if you decide you've messed up and then you just throw it in a bin. And often the ones that we think we have messed up with, if we continue doing it and keep persevering, I have found they often end up being some of the best pictures we do. Maybe some of the best pictures you do, and if you think you've already messed up on it, you may as well continue. Because what's the worst that can happen? So what's my thoughts on that? I mean, I think we're all our biggest critics. It's like we see things, we spend so much time staring at the image that we see things that no one else is going to take notice of. You know, people don't spend that much time just kind of like bent over your picture like you do, staring really close at it. Yeah, people don't really, you know, either have a look at it and think, oh, it's pretty, that's really nice, and they're not gonna notice, like, oh, yeah, you went outside the line there, and oh, that shadow's not in the right place. 'Cause people don't really do that, you know, unless you've asked for like a critique. So back to my pumpkin now, and just starting to build up. Where I want things to be a bit darker. I feel like I have coloured so many pumpkins recently. And I haven't even really been going for autumnal or Halloween type pictures either. But I've somehow managed to get a lot of pumpkins. A lot of the, well, I guess I do have a few autumnal books. I mean, I've got Rita Berman's A Walk Through Autumn, or I'm not 100% sure what it's translated into, but I've got that one. It's actually my first Rita Berman book. And I've got the Autumn Dreamlands. And then the Enchanted Land of Kelswych and Uchana. A few of them are quite autumnal as well. Christmas books, I don't have any. I've got Nice Little Town Christmas selection coming tomorrow. No, purely because it's kind of getting to that time of year, and I do enjoy not Christmas scenes quite so much, but I do like a nice winter scene. So yeah, excuse me 2 seconds, I just need a drink. Okay, sorry about that. So, we've done pumpkin, leaves. We started these little bits. I've got a door left here I missed out, so let's get that one done. So, I hope I'm not boring anyone. Feel free to ask questions, and I'm happy to answer. Happy to answer, you know, questions you might have on my next video. If you have any requests, let me know. And I'll see what I can do. So, let's get these done. So, now, what shall I do next? Sorry if the camera's shake there. Let's do these little flowers. Go with this blue here. Be helpful if I actually get some colour. There we go. I think I've just had like a water bubble come out. So this may end up being way too much water here, but it'll be fine. So I think these are kind of like cornflowers or echinacea or something like that. this brush isn't quite small enough for these teeny little details, but we'll make it work. So, when do you all like to colour? I tend to colour, well, most of the day, really. I don't really have a set time where I'm kind of like, right, okay, now I'm going to go and colour, and I'm going to colour for this long. I just do what, what makes me happy. Some days I might colour, most of the day. Other days I might just do, 10-20 minutes. I find being creative really helpful. It keeps my hands busy, keeps my mind busy, and it's always fun to, kind of let go and experiment. I'm assuming this is grass, but I'm not 100% sure. But we're going to do it as clumps of grass and leafy type stuff. So let's just do a black page strip again. So yeah, as you can see, that's pretty good. I'm pleased with how it's holding up. Right, now I need this colour, almost like a sage green. Sorry, I think I may have been off camera a little bit there. Literally just putting the layer down. So if it looks like my work area is shaking, it probably is. I don't have a proper desk or anything, so this is just like a kind of fold up lap desk that I use on the sofa. And it's, it's not the best, but it's not too bad. you know, it works, but if I move, it will tend to move. But that's what happens. I don't have room for like one of my pencil cases on here. It's kind of just enough room for the book I'm working in. My lamp is clipped to the side. And then I've just got my watercolour palette just left me on the edge of the table. But I couldn't have like one of my pencil books, you know, the ones that hold like 150, 200, 300 pencils in it on here. It would take up the entire table. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with how this is coming out. I'm probably going to keep it fairly simple, but you can always wait for it to dry and come back in and add more detail. But just be wary of the amount of water that you use, because yeah. And you want to use a very light touch as well, kind of barely touching the paper. As that helps to kind of preserve the paper so it doesn't kind of buckle and peel and that like you can get if using watercolour on cheaper paper. But as you can see, it is completely possible, which is wonderful because it opens up a whole nother world for you in your Amazon books. I find they're just all a bit with most mediums. You know, it's basically copy paper. So it's not really anything that's completely lost my train of thought then. Yeah, it's basically copy paper, so it isn't really any medium it's kind of made for, you know. It's not going to give you amazing results in the same feel as, you know, dedicated coloured pencil paper or pastel paper, or watercolour paper, marker paper, etc. So I'm going to do her with some colours, those little ones. Him, I might do blue. Speed slightly. So I am just gonna go straight over everything. Let's go out again. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying watching this. I know it's not definitely not the most exciting thing in the world, but I like to show that you can do more than you think you probably could in various books. It's like paper is, yes, good paper is amazing, and you know, kind of wish all books had really nice paper, but they don't. And you know, nice paper is expensive. So I totally understand artists wanting to keep costs down a bit by using cheaper paper. Just coming in with a little bit of shading. Like so. So we have recently started getting our Gusto boxes again. We stopped a while ago. Well, it was pretty much almost a year, but we stopped. We've been getting them for I think 3 weeks now, and before that it was basically a year ago that we stopped. And I love Gusto. I get so bored having the same thing for dinner week in and week out. I hate it. So with this, obviously I can choose our recipes. We get 4 recipes a week. And it's a completely different colour, apparently. That's pretty though. And yeah, so we get to pick our recipes. They do have a really good choice. You know, there's vegan and vegetarian options. And I would say it does save us some money. Mainly because we're not buying stuff we're not going to use. So we have our, our Gusto meals. We got our box delivered on a Sunday. So we'll normally have that Sunday until Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we will have you know, something simple. Pizza. Sometimes a ready meal if I really can't be bothered to cook. And things like that. This mushroom, he's a bit scary looking, to be honest with you. He's a bit weird. Not quite sure about him. She's okay though. And those ones are just adorable. But he's a little bit, yeah, I'm not quite sure about him. And that, I don't know if you can see, is quite a kind of definite line that I've managed to do there. That is something that will happen doing watercolour on this kind of paper, purely because, you know, it doesn't flow on this paper. One, due to the lack of water, and two, because it kind of just sinks straight in. Okay, so let's do a little bit more grass. And then probably gonna call it for the day. I hope, you know, some people may find this interesting. And if you like kind of fantasy images, like fantasy landscapes, houses, and things like that, I definitely recommend checking this book out, or the series of books, because they are just such fun. They really are. So I thought that was the tree that I was going on. It wasn't. It was a mushroom. Let's just do these little bits. And I'm going to want to kind of fade that into my mushroom stem colour. Another thing as well that you can do is when you're done with watercolour, if you want more detail, go in with your pencils and put more detail in with coloured pencils. but you do need to make sure it's completely dry. Otherwise you will just tear the paper up. I would advise leaving it probably for about 24 hours, ideally, just to ensure that it's 100% dry. And I would also advise being a little bit more gentle with it than when if you're just doing pencil, because obviously the water does damage the paper. So you just want to take a little bit extra care doing that. So yeah, I think that's probably about it for me today. I will be continuing this off camera, and we'll come back and show you it when it is finished or nearly finished, probably. So thank you very much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and be really appreciated if you hit that bell notification, and you will be notified whenever I upload something new. I am going to try and upload every other day, maybe daily for a little bit, and see how that goes. I have a couple of video ideas in my head that I would like to do, but if you have anything you would like to see, then please do let me know, and I'll see if I can do it. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Bye.